COVID-19, no crowds, and an unexpected championship by the Bucks characterized in 2021. The start of the 2021 to 2022 season has brought some fresh adversity in the form of COVID-19. But with fans returning to the stands and surprise stars coming out of retirement, it certainly has provided us with much more to talk about. Each team sees this year as a fresh start, whether it's to fight for the playoffs or to create the groundwork for a championship run. It's something that fans all throughout the country do with their New Year's resolutions. The same is true for NBA teams. This is what every team will be yearning for their franchise now that 2022 has arrived. Welcome to part one of what every NBA team needs in 2022. Here we go. Up first, we have the Atlanta Hawks. If the playoffs began today, the Hawks would be eliminated not just from the playoffs, but also from the play-in tournament. After a surprising run to the Eastern Conference Finals, the Hawks have dropped to a 15-19 record, putting them in the number 12 spot overall. This is a significant drop from the Hawks' number 5 seed a year ago, but the Hawks have faced some adversity in the form of important players missing games. This season, Bogdan Bogdanovic and DeAndre Hunter have both lost substantial time, while John Collins has recently missed time. Trae Young is having an all-star season, but only one player can do so much. The Hawks demonstrated to the NBA that seeding is irrelevant if you're healthy and vibing at the proper time. All the Hawks need to do now is make the playoffs, and they should pull off another Cinderella story. Up next, we have the Boston Celtics. When the Celtics signed Kemba Walker, they assumed it would be the deciding factor in their return to the NBA Finals. He was coming off a tremendous career with the Hornets when he became the franchise's all-time leading scorer. However, we saw in the conference finals that Walker was not the missing piece of the puzzle. With his health troubles and uneven play, the organization was able to trade him for a proven veteran in Al Horford. The Celtics, on the other hand, have suffered the last 2 years due to a lack of a real point guard. Walker failed last season, and Dennis Schroeder is definitely not the team's answer. The Celtics have two of the greatest players in the conference in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, but no one can pass the ball to them. If the playoffs began today, the Celtics would compete in the play-in round. They are better on paper, but there's no real point guard on the roster. Up next, we have the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets have gone the entire season without Irving, so acquiring Kyrie now is akin to signing a free agent in the middle of the season. The Nets have the best record in the Eastern Conference, but they now have a part-time all-star. Irving meets the conditions set forth by New York law for playing in home games despite the fact that he is not immunized. This could be a problem once the playoffs begin. The Nets are still the favorite to make the NBA Finals. What if the Nets win? Irving would appear in barely half of the games. Consider what would happen if the Nets lose, and how the fans would react. If Irving had been immunized, the Nets would have had a better chance of clinching the number 1 seed and winning the title that season. Up next, we have the Charlotte Hornets. Bridges will easily earn Most Improved Player of the Year if he continues to play like this. Bridges averages 19.7 points per game, 7.2 rebounds, and 3.7 assists. He's a huge reason why the Hornets are over 500 right now and competing for a playoff spot rather than a play-in game. Bridges appears to be a key piece to develop around a LaMelo Ball, who has 2 years left on his deal. The trick will be determining how much. Bridges is a free agent after this season, and the Hornets have already committed major funds to Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward. As previously stated, Ball is only 2 years until his big deal sign. Is the value of Bridges $20 million? Is he worth more than that? If the Hornets overpay, they risk losing a window, which could be a pity given how well the Hornets are doing right now. Up next, we have the Bulls. Remember how everyone felt signing DeMar DeRozan was a horrible idea? He has made folks eat those remarks because he's the ideal companion for Zach LaVine. The Bulls are vying for the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference now that Nikola Vucevic has finally found his place in the squad. If the Bulls had one more all-star player, they may go all in and try to win a championship this season. Domantas Sabonis is likely to be traded because the Pacers are one of the weakest teams in the league. The Bulls have assets like Kobe White that they can trade. Adding Sabonis to a starting lineup that includes Lonzo Ball, LaVine, DeRozan, Sabonis, and Vucevic could be enough for the Bulls to win their first title since 1998. Up next, we have the Cavaliers. This season, the Cavaliers are the NBA's second-best defensive club. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley appear to be a very efficient front-court duo. Consider improving the backcourt's defense efficiency. Ben Simmons, the runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year in 2021, might play today to help this team's overall play, especially with Ricky Rubio out for the season. Simmons may not be the Cavaliers' main offensive target, but he isn't required to. They only need him to do what he did in Philadelphia, which was assist, rebound, and defend. The Cavaliers have assets because they've been dormant for the last few years. Having said that, the squad is vying for a top 4 playoff place, and acquiring Simmons might assist them even more. Up next, we have the Mavericks. To state the obvious, the Luka Doncic-Kristaps Porzingis combination isn't working. If the Mavericks are stuck with this lineup in the future, they might as well go all in and bring a third superstar. Moving a contract like Tim Hardaway Jr.'s would be difficult, but you can't keep playing like the 16 and 18 club and expect fans to be satisfied. Some players like Sabonis, Miles Turner, and even Brandon Ingram will be available. The Mavericks are clinging to the playoff race and have yet to go past the first round with Doncic on the roster. At some point, the entire team, not just Doncic, must produce. Up next, we have the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets reached the conference finals 2 years ago with Jamal Murray on the roster. Without Murray, the team advanced to the second round of the playoffs thanks solely to their leadership of their MVP, Nikola Jokic. The additions of Aaron Gordon, Will Barton, and Michael Porter Jr. elevate this Nuggets squad to a championship contention team, but only if Murray stays healthy. With Porter out for the remainder of the season, the Nuggets may have to wait for another year to compete. That's the issue. On paper, the part looks excellent, but no one can stay healthy at the time. Murray is expected to return at some point this season, with a preliminary date of February 1st. Hopefully, he won't rush back and will be totally recovered. Up next, we have the Detroit Pistons. After a shaky start to the season, Cunningham has begun to resemble the actual #1 overall pick in the 2021 draft. In 25 games, Cunningham has averaged 15.3 points, 6.2 rebounds, 5.2 assists, and 1.4 steals. Cade's development must be exciting for Detroit supporters given that he's only 20 years old. The Pistons are suffering as a whole though. With a record of 5-28, the team has the worst record in the NBA. The Pistons will coast the rest of the way and allow their younger guys to grow. Winning Rookie of the Year would provide some closure for fans as the progress of at least one of their players. Up next, we have the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors have the greatest defensive record in the NBA and are tied for the best record in the league with the Suns. The Warriors are 20 games above 500 with 27 victories. Steph Curry appears to be the MVP, and Draymond Green appears to be the Defensive Player of the Year. Klay Thompson is all the team needs to remind them of the 2015 to 2019 glory years. Thompson hasn't played in 2 years and has missed nearly half of his season due to a variety of injuries. Nobody is sure what to anticipate when he returns. Because of their current position in the standings, the squad's not rushing him. The Warriors require one more piece to secure the championship, and they have it, and they're hoping that he's going to recover. Up next, we have the Houston Rockets, #1 pick in 2022. With a record of 10-25, the Rockets have the worst record in the Western Conference. This season, the team is a dreadful 3-17 on the road. Jalen Green has looked impressive at times, and this season, he's averaged 14.8 points, 3 rebounds, and 2.4 assists while shooting 39.5% from the field and 31.6% from three-point range. But it's going to be a long time before Houston can compete again. Chet Holmgren and Green might be Houston's future. They only need the first overall choice to make it happen. Up next, we have the Indiana Pacers lottery picks for 2022. The Pacers will almost certainly have a fire sale before the deadline. Sabonis, Turner, Malcolm Brogdon, and Carmelo Anthony are also possible candidates. The Pacers are circling the NBA's middle, which is where no one wants to be. If the Pacers want to try again, they're going to have to start from the bottom. Sabonis may be worth the most to the team in terms of a return, but Turner may also be worth a first-round pick. Brogdon's deal is reasonable, and he can play point guard. You never know what teams are willing to give up in times of need. In any case, the 2022 draft will be here before we know it, and Indiana should aim for as many first-round picks as possible. Up next, we have the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers are not thought to be in playoff contention, but they are now the final team to qualify for playoffs and avoid the play-in tournament. This season, Paul George has been playing like an MVP candidate to keep his club in the race. The Clippers were thought to be out of the race when Kawhi Leonard sidelined. The Hawks are a prime illustration of what can happen to your team when they're both healthy and doing well. Last season, the Clippers advanced to the conference finals and may have advanced to the finals if Leonard had been healthy. If the Clippers make the playoffs, they may be able to reclaim Leonard. Finally, we have the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers have a slew of problems. The club is ranked 7th in the West and has lost 5 of their past 6 games. Fans are demanding for Russell Westbrook to retire or get traded. The team is made up of seasoned professionals. The biggest issue is undoubtedly Anthony Davis's inability to play at all. Davis will return this season, but we witnessed what can happen when a player is rushed back from an injury last year. The Lakers are desperate enough for it to happen in order to keep them in the postseason chase. Davis's contribution to the team's success is critical. The Lakers can only win a championship if Davis stays healthy. Well guys, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to Tip Top Sports, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.